where every family has access to nutritious food that they want to eat, and where our producers can rest easy at night knowing that the reciprocal relationship they have with their community is supportive and strong. Thank you. Thank you for joining this discussion this morning, because together we can cultivate resilience, and together we can shape the food and agricultural systems that we're proud to be a part of. Thank you. The reciprocal relationship they have. So, I'm Jay Sanders, and I am the project coordinator for the Community Food and Agricultural Assessment with the San Luis Valley Local Foods Coalition. I'm also the director of the San Luis Valley Seed Exchange that takes place in the spring here at the Dirty Hot Springs. And I want Okay, and I want to give you some little overview of what we're going to talk about today. So back in April of 2022, the Local Foods Coalition initiated a year-long project, which was the San Luis Valley Food and Agricultural Assessment, with the ultimate goal of producing a valley-wide and community-driven action plan based on the findings. One aim of the assessment was exploring the successes and the challenges encountered by our food producers, food businesses, and community members. Additionally, we sought their insights and ideas for a thriving food future. We conducted a comprehensive outreach across all 6 counties in the SLV by hosting listening summits, conducting a photo voice project, and administering.
I talked to Leon. Rex is here. Yeah, he finally made it.
Today, our focus will be on the prioritized goals that emerged from that survey.
He's back when on.
And now I'm going to introduce our panelists. Starting right here is and exhibiting an excellent model of what regenerative farming can look like. Located in Hooper is Taylor Princess of Jones Farms Organics, and the new owner of the Hooper Junction, Sarah Jones. She's a co-manager of the Singapore Ranch, which produces organic grass-fed and finished beef, and prides itself on training the next generation of ranchers right here in Saguache County. Noel McDonough.
Caroline, we're getting a decent feed. We are getting
next. Our next panelist was born and raised in Colorado agriculture, with deep roots in soil and water conservation, and is now the district manager for the Seno Center and Rio Grande Conservation Districts, Matea Friel. And a man most of you know due to his multiple appearances at the Crestone Energy Fair, and the mastermind behind the Valley Roots Food Hub and Dune Valley Distilleries, both located in Mosca and Big Chambers. So one aspect of the data we gathered, like I said, was through 3 surveys. One was for producers, which is farmers and ranchers. One was for food businesses, and the other was for community members. They each had their own set of unique questions, but they also had some of the same questions. One of those questions was, which food and agricultural system goals are most important to the San Luis Valley community? They were given 15 choices and asked to pick their top 3. And so what emerged from those goals that are these 8 statements on this poster below, and these 8 goals are what we're going to talk about here today. So, the first one, this was shared by all 3 survey takers, and by that I mean the groups we surveyed, and it was to invest in a thriving local food and farm economy. And what this tells us is that we need to do more work to support our local producers and more work to get local food available to the people that want it. And as much as I really like that goal, it's a little vague and broad, and I don't know how to get into it. So the next one we are going to get into is that the other thing that emerged it was the top priority by all three of those groups was to encourage and support youth farming and ranching programs. And so that's what I want to have you guys talk about. And I think I know that there's 4-H and FFA, but I really want to focus on the 20 and 30 something year olds that know they want to get into agriculture, know they want to farm or ranch, and talk about the programs and initiatives that can support that. So, do any of you have any suggestions, advice, know what it is these young producers need? What are the challenges? What are their barriers? And what can we do to support them?
Hi everyone. So I did from Akron, 30 minutes north of New York City, outside Manhattan, and decided in my mid-20s that farming and ranching and working with livestock is what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to go about it.
I got it set up here, brother.
Didn't have something necessarily to find myself in an agricultural place.
So I have customized.
I actually applied to the Mirror Coalition, and they're down in San Francisco.
Are you live right now? Yeah, I'm live right now. If you stop it? Yeah, you can stop it for now. I'll restart it.
Have an agricultural background or two ranchers and farmers underneath.
There we go.
And it's most people do too.
There we go. Much better.
Farmers to young people after they graduate the program. And I think it also helps with the education piece that most people don't come from this background. And
yeah,
I really appreciated it. I graduated now almost 2 years ago from this program, and the courses I've been able to take had a profound impact on me as a young person getting into this program.
How's it doing today, ma'am? Good. Welcome to my wife's shop. She does everything handmade. Everything's original. She doesn't replicate anything. Everything is natural. There's no plastics, no resins, and she does custom work. She has a couple other things, but might see something that catches your eye.
So I think our experience facing our new producers is the finances. And I think it's a little disheartening, discouraging. A lot of people that are getting into the industry have to start out in debt. So there is a farm service agency that can help support provide loans and financial assistance for these young producers getting into in addition to that, I know a lot of people when they're getting into it, there's a lot you don't know that you weren't taught through your generations, that your grandpa didn't teach you growing up, like your dad didn't teach you getting into tractor. So the Colorado Farm Bureau has a mentorship group that is young, new farm
a little bit better, a lot better though. It's only
that still want to learn something new. With someone a little bit more experienced in whatever field you want to get into, whether it be cattle, whether it's potatoes or corn.
So the window of focus is pretty much
these producers that have a bit more experience with it and pass that on to you. So that kind of continues those generations, and that kind of acts like our succession plan. So there is a lot out there that a lot of younger farmers and ranchers don't know, that are my age trying to get into the industry, that didn't have the same background as those who are kind of carrying it through the generations. So there's a couple of different resources out there, but those are the main barriers. Is you don't know what you're doing or how to get started or what's all involved with it, and the finances. And I mean, every farmer out there has had to be in debt at least once in their lives. It's just part of the industry. But we're looking at how we can support new farmers and how we can bring them out of that and them through that initial point. Just to add on that a little bit, I think for younger people who didn't grow up in agriculture, the thought of ever owning land is kind of a fantasy at this point. especially given the challenges of financial backing. I think collaboration is really the greatest thing for young people, and I think they have a more open mindset to collaborating with other young people, with landowners, with ranchers and farmers who are maybe aging out, which is most of our ranchers and farmers, to kind of maybe not own the land or own the animals or own the crop, but to lease all of those things in order to do the work that they want to do. And I think there's a lot of potential there within collaboration, not only with products or production, but with ideas and getting food to people. I think that's a really big goal.
Oh, no, I took it back, actually.
Not just all ways, but I think that young people see the need for that and the need for connection and
that just sucks. The way the sun's
maybe some of these barriers would actually be a positive.
It's throwing the work balance everywhere.
Creating
So
new spaces,
you only do so much. I love
new systems, without maybe the paradigm of owning any of that.
Have you all are there any holes that you see that just aren't being filled in what younger people are needing and there's like no resources for it? Right. I don't know if you know that and I mean I feel like land access is the big one.
I can see the
So there's things that you wish you would have had or somebody would have offered some sort of education or
yeah, it's a pretty decent camera.
I think all people transition and succession is kind of a yucky topic for families, especially in agricultural settings. You're usually working with family members, and to add new, different people from the outside into that could be really messy. And it's something that myself and Sam, my partner who I came out here with, are working with George and Julie on. And it might not be for our succession plan, but these are things that they really need to figure out for the future of ranch. And there are some new ideas coming up for people who own ranches who are aging out, but they want the land to continue
in the window. And actually see you work.
And they want it to.
So if you were like working the way you're sitting now, you'd see everything. How you doing today?
I think that is there's not a whole lot of support for people who have conversations about succession, about family members that are either on the ranch or not, and what to do with all of these puzzle pieces to put together fully.
So the Valley Ridge Food Hub is
Fun for you.
over 100 boosters in our network, and that's across produce, meat, dairy, value added, and it's really exciting to have some of the younger producers in that mix.
I keep thinking
Utilize us in a way that they
feeling all too well.
Ranch or in the kitchen to work, and we can do the marketing and sales and distribution and stuff like that. And so that's really one of the value propositions that we try to do is provide that link, provide that help and assistance, and get those products out there.
Yes,
to the point where some producers have been able to stop doing a market that's 4 or 6 hours away, and all the hauling of produce and packaging the coolers, and then bringing back produce that's sat out in the sun for 2 days.
I just say I like the.
So they're pretty happy about that.
Okay.
My friends are always like, "You need to like."
I also want to bring out, it's not just on the farm and on the ranch, but in the kitchens.
Elegant.
And shout out to John Young, who bought Seth's Pizza Oven. I know here's somewhere here today. And just to see him bucking up and paying the fees and filling out the paperwork and really jumping through the hoops you got to do to get the food to a public event like this. It takes a lot. And so I really shout out to the people in the kitchen who take the products from the farms and ranches. He was breaking down a whole chuck roast from Matt at the Mercantile, who just broke down the whole cow earlier this week. And, just to see that succession So I think
it
that's
fits me.
important
That's
too. And the
weird.
other one that's really coming up is
It
the
was
school
meant for you.
districts.
It was meant for
And
you.
getting the local foods
I
in the
think I
school.
made that one
And that
sometime
sounds really
last
easy,
year.
and there's a
So
lot of
it's been around
subsidy and
3
money for
different
buying
sales,
local,
4 different
but
sales.
it's not as easy as
And
it
nothing
sounds
ever fits
because
me.
some of these
I always
schools
have
don't
to
even
buy
have
twice.
pots and pans. And so it's about
You know what?
getting
She says
trained
that about
people in there that knows
clothes.
how to
She
work
nothing
with food.
she fits
I
her.
Knows how to work with
She
whole
wants
foods. It knows how to work
I
with
often have
local
to buy
whole foods.
A-plus for my
And it's just
bracelet
not the way
Oh,
it's been in the
understandable.
local
because I
schools.
can't handle this.
Right.
So we
Yeah,
need to
that's
gotta be able to
reimagine
go.
what
Yeah.
school
So I gotta get
cafeteria
this for
is.
sure. I'm not
Okay.
gonna walk off with it, but I'm
Oh,
not
no, no,
taking
no.
it off.
Now that it has hit the finger, it's no
Right.
longer.
That one's the one.
Okay.
It's really pretty.
I agree with the Nick on
I
all
tell
of
her all the time she needs to
oftentimes
figure out what she wants to
these things are
make because
gonna
everything
serve the
comes
farm
out so
work,
good.
just like
See, I'm the marketer. She's the artist. Told her I'm gonna wear a top.
There you go.
For all my male jewelry, here's
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yep.
That's like a, yeah.
Robert and what's the
colored story.
That's
Oh,
really
okay.
pretty.
Farmers.
Gotta put it on. I mean, you're wearing it. So
It's
plunk out your energy.
no, not at all.
That's really
Usually I have another one that has
Wild opportunity to
I'm thinking my son.
yeah. She does male and female. They fit really well.
school if you're a chef.
That's the one.
There's so
That's
many
the one?
ways to build it.
Yeah.
Working on
Sometime.
Mhm. So, to do the makeup.
You selling the incense?
There's
No.
that's just to kind of keep the energy. You're
Because I was hoping to put one in my
to
bag.
learn. To be,
Pick it up.
they are
The
ready to
reindeer?
teach you.
Oh no. Yeah. We also have that's the chewy one, and then we have sandalwood too.
Oh, you are selling?
Not
No, we're gonna give you one.
Oh, it's really.
ethic and we
It
educating him and having him work with us.
is so hard
We
to
also
decide.
do
This one I know.
Yes.
Colorado Proud Week is coming
Okay, I'm
up,
gonna
and
get
so
this
we
one.
get
Okay.
involved with our local schools. They have
How much?
stones.
$20.
We get to go in and
You have cash?
talk
Great.
farming.
Uh,
We also have the Boulder Valley School District, which is
we do card as well. Me too.
up in Boulder, and we get to do meet the farmers. Which is
Oh my.
Make it something that fits my
answer questions.
me.
Hey, just please take a card.
This will be
Take a card because she doesn't do e-sales, but she does custom work.
so really
through her-
educating
Well, and then you
in
probably
the
can
schools
put up
that
where you're
might
gonna
be sort
be
of
and stuff.
scared.
Right?
Yes, she's been putting it up on her
That are
calendar.
different colors, which
Where
is
you guys
so
live here?
unfortunate.
No,
that, like
over
Nick
in,
said, some of these
near
schools
Walsenburg
don't
on the
even
other side
have
of
kitchens
I-25.
to cook the
Oh, I
food.
live in Pagosa.
So we
Oh, we go to Pagosa all the time. My
encourage
friends live in
townspeople to
Pagosa.
try purple mashed potatoes,
Oh yes,
and then
yes.
they
I've been
quickly
trying to get out
realize
to
they taste
Pagosa,
just like normal
this
mashed
side market.
potatoes, but are maybe even more
years.
delicious and 10 times higher in
You know, they have a bunch of other
antioxidants
markets
and
over there now
antioxidants.
too, because
So that's been really fun for us.
enough,
Just
the farmers
starting
market is
young.
not as
And there's so
popular
many
as it used to be.
opportunities to do that, even if you're not in that. Just getting involved in the kids,
doing
schools,
CBTs.
and
She was
sales
telling
and
me
marketing.
there was a
Lots of
group that
opportunity
was
out
wanting
there.
to get maybe
Thanks.
side market.
They
Your
are. They're doing
potatoes
like a
are the
baker's
tastiest
market. It's
potatoes
called
I've ever
Ryan.
had.
And
They're
it's
really
called-
great. And I love when you talk about people.
Sometimes
You
they
can
have-
participate in the local food system and in agriculture because 50% of the work is administration, and so there's a lot of opportunity there if you don't want to go to the field.
Handle the
like that.
website, line graphic marketing.
Talking to started talking about value add. So, one of the other things that emerged to the top of these shared
Great.
goals,
Right.
and this
Victoria.
was from producers and food businesses, said that they wanted to find ways to add value to our agricultural products through farm and ranch and food entrepreneurs. And so I'm wondering if you guys have any ideas about what's in place that people might not know about, like whether it's
I'll let
commercial kitchens that people can utilize, if it's like a cottage food act or laws that
I'm gonna
people
send
might
out
be able to
text.
produce on a small scale, and then what are the options for producing or processing on a larger scale and adding value?
It's exciting stuff, and there's so many opportunities for value added, of course. I mean, freezing, drying. Alex is on our staff, and I think he's got some granola and freeze dried stuff he's been working on. I haven't seen him somewhere out here yet. Valerie's Food Hub does have a commissary kitchen in Moscow, so it's fully licensed. So, like John Young was able to just say, "Hey, I'm doing this event," and he pops in there. It's all they do make you jump through some hoops and sign some forms. But we try to do that and make it accessible and affordable. And it's got great stainless countertops and big open mixers, the ovens, and all that stuff. And we've had quite a few community members, launch or sustain different phases of their business there. And then, of course, we can always take that product and land it from Durango to Denver Springs, Pueblo, and Alamosa to Leadville. Because we have a really wide customer base. And then we can, of course, help connect local foods in. But we like to say there's always room for just local business in our network. Someone that wants to just take a product and get it out into the world. And then we also like to look for those producers that are using Colorado products into their value-added manufacturing and they get that product out. That's a really special thing, and I always love to showcase those.
So before I became a rancher, I was also a meat cutter. I did full animal butchery for about 2 years. And I think for meat producers, wanting to create a relationship with someone who's really interested or passionate about added value products.
We also do custom work. So if you're ever interested in
who have duplications.
So every piece is a one and only piece.
And there's not a lot of people
and never do it again. So
This one's really pretty with
craft.
film on it.
Because
difficult.
Yeah, it looks cute.
So without
Yeah,
so I think
little bitty Dremel maybe.
for producers to advocate for people to get into meat cutting is really important, and to show that it is a craft. It's not just an avenue for a minority to take and have a really
Those are really pretty
terrible
too.
work-life balance. Because that's
She got in this little.
and I also think there can be really great relationships.
to play the water element.
Yeah.
You know?
Chill thing.
So producers have a hard time still there are still cuts that people will not touch. They don't know what to do with it. So and that's I think for my
She does have changed headbands,
I feel
different size.
lucky to have is that
Metal. She also has
connection
leather.
between me and what you do. So,
That's a new one.
would you
Yeah. What are
Green,
those?
sort of.
Green.
Those are jade.
Oh, gee.
producers
Yeah, man, it could help a lot. Yeah, I was getting.
Previous jeweler passed away from the family, and she knew I did. Her daughter knew I did jewelry, and she's like, "You need to want it, otherwise my dad would just throw it all away." So I was like, "Yeah, I'll take the 3-hour drive and
this might
come
be a
pick
little
them
bit
up."
of sort of a
And
broader answer to
this
the
is one of the
question.
pieces that I made.
So a friend of mine recently
Yes, that's it. This is amethyst,
who's been up in Boulder.
with just some glass seeds, and this
His
is
memorial later
garden.
today. And he always said community over commodity. And so, I mean, I hate the word networking, but really just community, meeting people, interactions. So when people ask me, what can we do to help farmers? And my 3 questions are, buy our product, ideally buy enough to share with someone else, tell people about it, share, right? Social media, word of mouth, dinner party, whatever, sharing means to you. And then making introductions. So Andy was always good at, what do you need? How can I help you? Who can I introduce you to help with it? So through some of just our connections, having lived in Denver area, my husband's from here, the Valley, Hooper. But I think of myself as sort of a bridge to the Front Range and getting to make a lot of connections and introductions, and I love that part about my job. But through just people we've met, We grow potatoes for Whole Foods, Valley Roots Food Hub, Elephant Park Market, Amy's Organics, Daily Harvest, Barton Springs Mill, and a lot of those were through introductions from friends and supporters. So it doesn't necessarily mean you yourselves have to be starting up the potato chip company or the french fry company or the pizza company. I mean, it's amazing, and we will all try to support you and help you in any way possible. But even sometimes it's just introducing farmers, ranchers, to people in those positions that could have a huge impact. I had a couple of posts on Instagram, and one person reached out to me, just a mom in Colorado Springs, and within a month introduced me to 3 different people that started buying our heirloom grain and our potatoes. So just the impact that each of us can have through an amazing community of friends and family can really have an impact on each of our ranches and farms.
Do you guys see any spaces that we could really use more processing? Like, I feel like there's a lot of food that's produced here. A lot of it is just immediately exported and it doesn't stick around. And that's because there is a lack of processing. And is there any like low-hanging fruit that you see that, you know, would be this is the easiest next step to keep potatoes here? Or I'm imagining like, gosh, I wish somebody would be making bone broth, you know, with these things that most people aren't just buying at the store. That would be really helpful for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes, absolutely. There's so many opportunity, but as we all know, it takes time, money, energy. We have a handful of opportunities. I have buyers that are begging me for par cooked potatoes, hash browns, French fries, potato chips. But for us as farmers, I mean, we would love to do it. We just don't currently have the extra time and money to put in a facility. So I would say absolutely there's a need for that. We have the potatoes, we have the oils, we have land, we have buildings. I literally have customers, but again, just it comes down to the time and money. So there's so many amazing opportunities, and it comes back to collaborations and community to make it happen.
I really like that topic because there are so many opportunities here in the valley that haven't been touched on. Part of it is because there's might be the resources. But I always thought that a livestock processing facility would be amazing because all of our beef is exported outside of the valley. None of it is processed locally. To go over to the Front Range or down to Texas. So that's an effort that's going to still
He's got all his signs and everything. This is but
getting into that. But there are so many skills with all of our commodities produced in the valley. I think that is
what are you doing today?
process.
I also want to bring up that
Just so you know, everything is real. Natural. Plastic, no resins,
and they're
and they're only one-off pieces. They never
the right number, but it's like for every dollar that you're spending any food, the farmer's only making about 20 cents or something. And so if those producers could be adding a little bit of value, or somebody else in the valley could be adding it, we could be keeping more of our money here in this valley.
Jeremiah, stop by.
Yeah, and I wonder, does the audience have any questions? I totally want to open this up.
It's okay,
If you have any? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so she asked if we knew about Soil Sungrid and Crestone, who I don't know if they're here or not, but they're excellent because they have a revolving loan fund that's community funded, and they offer zero interest loans to agricultural businesses. So, if you just need to buy this implement and, you can apply to them, they'll give you the money and you've got, you figure out your terms with them, but you get to pay that back without significant interest on it. And they have an excellent, it's like 100% of people repay the loans, and it really helps level up for some of these producers that are really, cash is one of the things we saw. People are really strapped. Like the finances is the barrier to move forward in a lot of ways. Are there any other questions? Okay, so I want to move on to one of the next shared goals by the community and the producers was to promote and build upon programs that conserve water. And I'm going to also combine that with, this was a shared goal, but it rose to the top by producers, which was also to promote soil conservation practices and soil health. So I'm going to just kind of mash those together because they're so closely related. So, what technologies or practices are proven effective in conserving our water and soil out here? And I know that you can all speak to this.
Yeah, on that. So since I am the district manager of the Styna and Rio Grande Soil Conservation Districts, touched all the which was
Rex. Sorry, I text Rex all the
being around here to
the stuff. And
so I guess if we there has learning how to grow our crops and blessing. So that's an ongoing process. In terms of orange and potatoes. So we partnered with local potato farmers, alfalfa and orange trees.